I know that there's lots of sacrificial sex that goes on in relationships, and I know that that's, sometimes the case. But listen, the best sex that you've ever had is the sex that you were both intimately engaged in. And my guess would be that you figured out whatever it is with each other as partners, what the other person needs, and you provided that for them, and then you were able to engage in that most fulfilling kind of sexual relationship. Fellas, for women, sex starts in the kitchen. So you're like, I'm going to try that. No, here's what I mean. It means you take the garbage out without being asked. It means when you're getting ready to leave in the morning, if your normal practice is to just say, okay, babe, see you, bye. Call you when I get to work or something like that. You stop, you take the time, you grab that woman, you look deep in her eyes, and you say, you're my ultimate. Rawr. And then you dip her and you put a big fat wet kiss on her. And you let her stew on that all day. Because here's the deal. Some of us, guys, we put that first kiss on there and then the 7 seconds happens and we want to, drag her to the room before we go to work. No, just let it set. Just let it kind of hang out there and let her stew on that, because she will. She's got like 58 screens. That'll stay up. You come home that night, give her another kiss when you come in the door. You hang out with your kids without her having to bug you about it. You help them with their homework. You clean up the dishes. You sit down once the kids are in bed and you listen to her for longer than 3 minutes before you go back to the game. You go to your room that night, you keep the TV off, you light some candles. And listen, don't even make the first move. Just see what happens. She'll pick up on that stuff. And here's what the crock pot's been stewing all day. She'll be ready because you've taken your time. Yeah, that's the great thing about a marriage. We're supposed to, God puts us together, not just to make us happy, but to make us holy. And he uses, like Jerry Maguire, he uses each of the partners to complete the other. And we are to learn from each other in every phase of our marriage relationship, including sex. The best sex happens when we're precious and tender and take our time and listen to be able to provide the needs of our partner in marriage. So fellas, just in closing on this point, learn to slow down. Learn to slow down. The best sex you'll have is the sex that your wife is there for. And ladies, here's my challenge to you. One of the things that I hear from women most often when they're struggling in this area of life is that they just have a hard time being there. And I'm like, physically? And they're like, no, I'm physically there, but mentally, I can't shut down all my screens. I've got all these windows open on my computer, and I'm having a hard time focusing on this window because I know my kids are in the other room, or I know that I have this going on, or this is coming up on my schedule, and I just can't be there. Listen, ladies, you need to pray to your God in heaven that when you and your husband are experiencing intimacy together, that you're there, that you can engage in that. That some of you ladies might not know that you're supposed to experience fulfillment in your sexual relationship, that you'll experience that. But the first stop on you gaining pleasure and receiving joy from an intimate relationship is for you to be there mentally. To not see this as just a necessary evil. To not see this as something that's interrupting your schedule for the rest of the day. Be there. Husbands, slow down. Women, be there. That's how we'll be precious and experience God's best. Let's keep going. You ready? Verse 8. Come with me. He's talking to his wife here. They are now, disrobed. Here we go. Come with me from Lebanon, my bride. Come with me from Lebanon. He's going to repeat himself because he's getting way too excited. Descend from the crest of Amana. This is not an oven or isn't that a brand of refrigerator? Anyway, okay. That's stupid. Let's just continue. All right. Descend from the crest of Amana, the top of Senir, the summit of Hermon. He's talking about the peaks and this experience that they're about to have. It's going to get good and then better and then whoa! He says, let's keep going to these peaks. And then he says, the summit of Hermon, from the lion's den and from the mountain haunts of the leopards. He's been talking to her, describing, what he sees as she's disrobing, and now he's talking about the sexual experience and how great it's going to be. But then he senses in her some fear. She's a little tentative. Understandably, this is her first experience, and she's just a little uneasy. And he says, listen, come down from where those predatory cats are, where you're fearful, the lions and the leopards. Come down, and I'm gonna take care of you. We're gonna do this right. We're gonna be protective of each other and careful in this time. Look what he says. He says, "You've stolen my heart, my sister and my bride." It's kind of odd here that he calls this woman his sister. Let me explain why he does that. He's reminding her of everything that they've invested in each other up to this point in the relationship. Remember, babe, we've done all the hard work of communication and in emphasizing the interior, the insides instead of the outsides. We've done all of this hard work, and we are now husband and wife. Just because we're here and we're about to experience this intimate side of our relationship does not negate or erase everything that we've done. I'm still the guy that that you got to know while we were dating. I'm still that rock, that steadfast man of character that you can put your trust in. You're my sister, and you're my bride. He goes on and he says, "You have stolen my heart with one glance of your eyes, with one jewel of your necklace. How delightful is your love." Again, he says, "My sister and my bride. How much more pleasing is your love than wine, and the fragrance of your perfume than any spice." He says, "Babe, listen, this place, this part of our relationship, I'm going to protect you in it. It's going to have all the expressions that it's meant to have, and I'm going to be your covering in this part of our relationship." He says we're going to work at being, in essence, in tune with each other. If all these instruments that we have up here on the stage are out of tune together, the musical product coming off the stage will not be good to listen to. Can we all agree? They all tune to the same notes, the same pitch, and that's what makes sweet music. And that's what he's saying about her relationship with him. He's gonna be in tune with her. Write this down. Be protective of each other, and defer to your partner all the time. Now that means in the bedroom and outside of the bedroom. Someone asked me once, what's okay as far as the sexual relationship? Where can we go with this thing, and what can we experience? I would say that anything's okay if you're both okay with it. There has to be this deference to each other. There has to be this equality and unity in this area of your relationship. It's not okay to do things in a sexual way if it's not okay with your partner. And that's what I'm talking about. We need to protect each other. We need to seek to provide what the other person wants and needs in our relationships. And to have that as foremost. You know, in the world we live in, sex is usually about the person who is seeking it. It's a selfish thing. I want to have sex for what I can get out of it. But godly marital sex is about what we can give the other person in their experience in it. That's the best sex you can have. Now we need to understand that we are not our own, we are each other's. It says as much in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, where it says the husband should fulfill his marital duty to his wife, and likewise the wife to her husband. The wife's body does not belong to her alone. Some of the guys are like, whoop! But the wife's body does not belong to her alone, but also to her husband. In the same way, the husband's body does not belong to him alone, but also to his wife. Later on in this book, we're going to see that he comes and he gives himself intimately to her in a time of her need and provides for her and her security. It says there in 1 Corinthians 7, do not deprive each other except by mutual consent. You both have to agree. There's no shutting off the valve for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months as punishment or as a leveraging agent. You can only abstain from this part of your relationship for an agreed upon time, mutual consent. And the only excuse that he gives for doing this is so that you can devote yourselves to prayer. And some of you ladies, okay, good, I'll use that one. Or some of you guys, hey babe, I got to pray. Now you got to agree on that. Here's why it's so important that you aren't apart and that you submit to each other in this area of marriage. It says, then come together again after this appointed time, so that Satan will not tempt you because of your lack of self-control. Let me talk about the protection that we are to give to each other sexually outside of the bedroom. You see, we all live in this world that thinks that sex is God. And so when we are providing for each other physically in our marriage relationships, it lessens the pull of our innate desires in the rest of the world. So many marriages crumble from adultery or from addictions to pornography, stuff like that, because the sexual relationship in the marriage is inadequate. Now, listen to me. I know there's still going to be some funky monkeys out of there who are still, experiencing a healthy marital sexual relationship and still want to, involve themselves in porn and still want to involve themselves in extramarital affairs. I get that happens. But I would tell you that the norm is that if we as husband and wife are receiving what we need in the marriage bed, that those temptations are lessened